Hey guys, this is Matt from New Life Church. I have actually had a lot of questions on the previous gear video that I posted, and so I figured I would just answer a lot of them on this video because my setup has changed a lot, and I feel like I've been fortunate enough to learn some new things. So I'll just share with you what I've been using lately. First of all, the Morgan AC40 right there is a new amp that I've had for a little while. I've had a lot of pretty decent amps, just being able to trade amps around, try a bunch of amps. So it's been really great. But I finally settled on Morgan for a number of reasons. Just love how it sounds. It's kind of that Voxy tone. But Joe Morgan, the guy who builds them, is without a doubt the kindest, most helpful builder that I've ever worked with, that I've ever been in contact with. So had the privilege to have him build me an amp, and he has just been an amazing guy to deal with. He has a lifetime warranty on his amps. That relationship is just huge when you get an amp that you want to keep for a long time. So check him out, please. He's amazing. He's been very helpful for us. And then here, as you can see, changed a lot. I put all of it on a pedal train board. They have been a very great company to deal with as well. A lot of our guys here really like the pedal train boards. Really simple, straightforward, and end up looking pretty clean. I've got a lot of weird shaped pedals, so my pedal board looks a little messy right now, as a couple of my friends have been pointing out, who are a little more obsessive about those sorts of things. But I'll give you a quick overview here. The entire thing is powered. You don't see this, but it's powered by the Gig Rig generator, which is a great power supply. I really like them. Check them out. Good power is very important. And then I'll just run you through the chain. First of all, Peterson Strobo Stomp. I like this guy. Very accurate tuner. I have it always on. So the button actually mutes it. It doesn't turn the tuner on and off. But I always have it on. And since it's before my volume pedal, all I have to do is roll my volume pedal back to tune it. So I like that. My buddy's got the Sonic Research Turbo Tuner, which is a really cool pedal. I've been looking into getting it. It's not very expensive either, so thinking about that. So from there, I run into this guy right here, which is a true bypass switch built by This One's Mine. Dan over at This One's Mine. So it's a true bypass switch for the Digitech Whammy, because that thing sucks your tone like crazy. It just rolls off the top end. So basically what this allows me to do is take it out of the chain when I'm not using it, so it's not affecting my tone. But also, this guy right here blends the amount that I want. It's kind of like a wet-dry blend. This is all the way on, and then this is halfway mixed with my dry signal. So it allows me to use some of the effects of the Digitech Whammy in a little bit more of a subtle manner, which is really cool. So, yep, Digitech Whammy. And then from this looper over here, we go over here to the Analog Man Bicomp. Really love this thing. It is not a subtle compressor. It is an effect for sure. When it's on, you can pretty much tell. It's got two sides, juicer, which is kind of like the Dan Armstrong type compressor. It is just instant rock and roll. I use that a lot for just to thicken up leads, or it just kills it on just big chords. And then this over here, the Ross compressor, sounds so good. It's just that Nashville shimmery compression, really tight, real percussive, sounds awesome with clean tones. But I've actually, I used to have compression on almost all the time. But I've been really pushing myself to go to a little more of an uncompressed sound and use compression as an effect instead of an always on thing. I think it really helps. Just kind of gives you a little bit more of a natural sound when you don't have a compressor on all the time, obviously. Alright, and then we've got the Amp 11 by Love Pedal. What I like about this is it's very visual in the way that it works. Well, I'll explain the order of the boost in a second. But what I like is this bass control. It's really nice because a lot of times with overdrive pedals, I find that they can get really bitey and sharp. So this kind of rounds it out, gives it a little more beef. So that's nice. I like the tone control. Apparently this pedal, a lot of people are saying that it is a lot like the Paul Cochran Tim. I can neither confirm or deny this. I just like how it sounds. Still settling into it. It's pretty new. I haven't had it for a long time. But it's got an overdrive, which is kind of a medium overdrive. It never gets like absolutely insane. And it's also got a boost. But the interesting thing about this is that the boost actually is, in terms of the circuitry, is before the overdrive. So when you've got your overdrive on and you hit the boost, it doesn't bring the volume up a lot. What it does is it just puts more signal into the overdrive to give it a little bit more of a bigger, compressed, more saturated sound. So it doesn't give you a volume boost. That's why I've got a little clean boost over here. Again, built by This One's Mine. Very simple, tone, volume. And so this gives me the post overdrive boost, gives me that like extra volume to push me up over the mix. I was writing on my blog, something that I really enjoy doing is just pre-mixing myself. So basically what I mean is when I've got a lead that's going to be featured in the mix, I like to push myself up over the top with like a clean boost or something like that, so the front of house engineer doesn't have to be managing my level like crazy. Just make his job easier. Front of house engineers love it when you make their job easier because they're managing a lot of things. So become a friend with your front of house engineer. Always worth it. All right, and then we've got the Goodrich volume pedal. This is the active one. I really like it because the active gives you a 3 decibel boost, so anything lost with the passive pot in there, anything lost in the pot of the volume pedal is regained with the active circuitry. So I can not really hear any tone loss, so I really like that. And then over here, we've got the Eventide Time Factor. Has been very, very faithful for me. So just a great volume or delay unit, really versatile, lots of presets, really clean sounding, highly, highly recommended. This is the last pedal that I would take off my board. And I've got this expression pedal right here, which is just hooked into the expression pedal jack right there, which basically allows me to control any one of these knobs, any number of them, whether it's just one knob or 2 knobs. I can control any of them, and that's really helpful because then I'm not using a billion presets. I usually just have one preset for a song, and then I use this to move between different, basically it's like reaching down here and, turning my wet dry knob or the feedback knob, moving that around. So that's really nice. And then lastly, the Strymon Blue Sky Reverb. It's a really great, really natural sounding reverb. Natural is definitely the word that comes to mind when I use it. It can be a little grittier than some of the digital reverbs you hear out there. However, it just sounds really authentic and really vibey. So it's got a lot of different settings, which are really cool. You've got plate, room, and spring. Spring reverb sounds awesome on it. And then for each of those, you can either have normal, mod, or shimmer. Shimmer gives you kind of that, that shimmer tone, I suppose, with like octave up type of sounds. So it's really versatile because you've got the high, low, pre-delay, decay, mix, all that, and you can even store a preset, which is really cool. And then last but not least, I don't know what Kenda is, but this is a multi-tool. It's just really nice to have that on my board just in case stuff breaks. It's saved my life several times, and it's always good to be prepared. And then all of this is wired up with lava cables, which they've been really good for me too. A lot of our guys really like them here. And my thing with lava cables or with any good cables is not so much that I'm sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, my tone is way better, just that I don't have to worry about my cables anymore. And that's really important because we all hate being in the middle of a set and being like, oh my gosh, where did my signal go, and trying to fumble around and find what the culprit is. So that's the big benefit of having decent cables, in my opinion. So that's really all. If you guys have any questions, please ask. And remember, pedals aren't what make you a good player. Practice. That's always been my problem. I like pedals, I like gear, and sometimes it's good to just sit down, plug your guitar straight into the amp, and go. And expose your flaws for better or for worse. It'll make you a better player. So that's my challenge for myself just as much as anybody else. Over and out.